One argument that really needs to die is this argument. You've probably heard it multiple times. Usually goes something like, does anybody really need, and then you just fill in the blank. Does anybody really need, say, an AR-15? You hear this a lot with gun grabbers, the fun control advocates. You know, whenever gun control comes up, they say, does anyone really need an AR-15? Does anyone really need more than one or two firearms? Does anyone really need it? Because you can really apply this standard to anything. Does anyone really need a super yacht or two super yachts? You hear this a lot from the left. When they try to democratize your bank account. Does anyone really need $1 billion? Does anybody really need a super yacht? I think I remember Mark Cuban was once on Bill Maher, and he brought up about how some dumbass panelist was making a big fuss about private jets. You know, does anyone really need a private jet or more than one private jet? And I think Mark Cuban was just like, actually, I have 2 private jets. He might have had 3 private jets, actually. Said, yeah, one's for me, and another one I use for to rent out mainly, but I also use it for personal use. I can't remember what exactly he said, but Mark Cuban had more than one jet, but does anyone really need it? Anyone who uses this line of argument, this somewhat dumb rhetorical question, does anybody really need fill in the blank? They are a miserable nanny that thinks they know what's best for everyone. They want to tell everyone how to live and decide what everyone needs and doesn't need. And it's so arbitrary. You can. Does anyone really need this GameCube? Maybe we should have just stopped at the GameCube. I know the system is about, what, 15 years old at this point? I mean, it came out 18 years ago. But it was retired. It was discontinued, I think, around 2006 in favor of the Wii. You know, we should just stop there, because does anyone really need a Wii? Do we really need more video games? I mean, with all the time and money we spend on developing new video games, developing better graphics for NHL Hits or Madden, NFL 2019 or NBA 2K19, with all the time and money, I mean, imagine if we put that money and time into stuff that actually mattered. Imagine if people were this passionate about things that actually mattered. I've seen that meme before. Usually it's someone having a good time at a sporting event or playing video games. The most notorious one was a bunch of Star Wars nerds dressed up as Wookiees and Stormtroopers and Darth Vader and stuff. And the caption said, imagine if people were this passionate about shit that actually mattered. Well, maybe Star Wars does matter. It clearly matters to the people who are spending their hard-earned money, waiting in line to see the next Star Wars. Does anybody really need more than one car? Is that a pine cone I'm playing with? I don't know why I just noticed that. Yeah, if you play at these specialty rinks, like the Graveyard, you play with the skull. It's awesome. On a pirate ship, you play with a bar of gold. Let's see it. Let's see what kind of puck they drop. Pretty sure it's a pine cone. Let's check this out. What is that? Is that ice cream? No, I was totally wrong. Apparently pine cones and ice cream are indistinguishable to me. I mean, do we really need hockey pucks? Clearly you can play hockey with a bowl of ice cream. Although I guess that'd be more expensive. Less practical if you're playing ice hockey. I mean, you hear Bernie Sanders with this rhetoric. Do we really need 14 options of deodorant? What up, Radical Liberty? Yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't notice, but I noticed at some point during the last game, my stream went offline. So now I'm back. Does society really need 18 types of deodorant or 30 types of sneakers? Chairman Sanders, according to... Yeah.
The Corporal is successful on the draw. Moved up by Raptor. Now the Corporal.
I mean, people act like democratic socialism is much different than communism. Same mentality.
Raptor now with the puck. A solid hit delivered. They score!
Same centrally planning mentality. I mean, you saw goofy Elizabeth Warren earlier. She tweeted, maybe it wasn't her. It was like one of her campaign. Maybe it was a PAC. I don't know if it was actually Elizabeth Warren. Might have been, though. But they were selling a Billionaires Tears Club. Billionaire Tears mug to raise money for the Elizabeth Warren campaign. I think it came from Team Warren or some shit like that. Does anybody really need $1 billion? Does anyone really need $1 million? I know I've talked about this in other videos, but I think this topic deserves its own video because this line of thinking really needs to die. This argument needs to die a miserable death. Because if it gets applied to a political level, then millions of people are going to die miserable deaths. Does anyone really need $1 billion or a super yacht or new video games or an AR-15? I mean, doesn't America have an obesity epidemic? Where are all these need nannies, as I'm going to call them now? The need nannies. When they say, does anybody really need... Are they going up to morbidly obese people who are in line at Wendy's or Taco Bell or are in line at a buffet? Do they go to them and say, do you guys really need 2 Whoppers? Do you guys really need 2 bean burritos? Do you really need a 3rd serving at the buffet? Does anybody really need an all-you-can-eat buffet? I mean, who are these people? Baloo from the Jungle Book, just trying to live on the bare necessities? Just look for the bare necessities. I'm a terrible singer. I'm sorry, guys. This ain't karaoke. I mean, isn't that kind of what some of these people want, though? Especially the environmentalists. They want us all to live like Mowgli in the Jungle Book, living on the bare necessities, living with the animals, who will definitely eat us if we don't use our minds to conquer nature.